people here, the financial professionals, remember, had been assuming that this bill would be passed by the House today and by the Senate on Wednesday, and that they certainly believe that there is a very, very real need for it, because these assets, which are currently being held by the banks, what would have happened had this bill passed is that we would have started moving through a process, which would have been quite a quick one, to begin offloading those assets from the banks and other companies who hold them, put them in a central government pot, and crucially do what we've not been able to do up until now, which is to price those assets. That would have started to become clear. And then it would have become clear about which banks were healthier than others and all that kind of thing, and there would have been more takeovers. But generally, you would have seen a purging of this problem. And now that is not going to happen. And let me remind our viewers what the Wall Street view is. Wall Street thinks that the banks, the big banks, from the ones just down below the central banks, right the way down to the tiniest little regional bank out in the Midwest of this country, are not lending at the moment, and they're not doing it for two reasons. First of all, because they don't see any transparency in the system, and crucially, they can't be sure that if they lend to somebody today, that person is going to be around to pay them back tomorrow. And even though the central bank, the Federal Reserve, and the European Central Bank, the ECB, bumped millions of dollars into the system today, again for about the fifth or sixth time, to make sure the bankers know the money is there, they're still not lending. And obviously, unfettered lending is a bad thing, and individuals get into trouble with their credit cards and things if they max out their cards. This is part of the problem. But lending, borrowing, is the grease that turns the wheels of international commerce, and so that a small business, if it wishes to expand, it has to borrow from its friendly neighborhood bank in order to get that money to do just that. And so you could see if businesses are not doing that, then there are very real problems. And also some businesses borrow from banks just to meet their monthly payroll, to pay their workers. And so if they can't get money at reasonable rates, because that's the thing, you can borrow money, but you just have to pay through the nose for it at the moment, and no one will do that. So if you can't do that, then the whole economic growth is stymied, and that's the fear. And that's why Wall Street registers that fear and tells you that now by being down 717 points. She happened.
John Terrett, stay with us.